What's going on, everyone? Coach Aaron here, back in another video to help you dominate the platform. Today we're going to break down the rule for gripping the bar for the squat so you can figure out what you can and can't do in competition. So come on in and let's get right to it. Alrighty everyone, welcome back. For those of you who have been around, thanks for tuning in to another video. And for those of you who are new here and don't know who I am, my name is Venmo Khamesi. I am a powerlifting athlete, coach, referee, and meet director. So I make videos here on this channel with topics going over those different subject matters. Today we're going to go over the rule for gripping the barbell on the squat. So this will help out not only lifters, but also coaches and referees who may be confused about this rule a little bit, since every once in a while for like the last 4 or 5 years that I can remember, this rule does come up because people are confused about whether which finger can grip the bar, which finger doesn't have to grip the bar, if the fingers can be above the bar, below the bar. So we're going to break it all down by going to my computer and looking at the rule book and seeing what the rule says, and then the clarification that USAPL has put in there based on what the IPF has told them. All right, so let's head on over to my laptop since all information we need is inside my computer.
Did you find the files?
I don't even know what they look. What do they look like?
They're in the computer.
They're in the computer?
Yeah, they're definitely in there. I just don't know how he labeled them.
I got it.
You gotta figure it out.
Roger. In the computer. It's so simple.
Alrighty, so we're here on my computer, and as always, you want to go to USAPowerlifting.com. You can also check out the IPF website and go to the IPF rulebook, but I'm just going to USAPowerlifting.com to go to our rulebook because it has a little bit of a clarification in there as well that I want to go over. So when you're on USAPowerlifting.com, you go to the About Us, and then you scroll all the way down until you see the rules and bylaws. I'll see if I can make this a little bit easier to read with the spooky setting we got going on, but you're gonna go to rules and bylaws. And then here in the rules and bylaws, you'll see you have the latest rulebook here, version 2019.5. Also, you have this lifter's handbook, but I'd say for now, avoid the lifter's handbook because it is a few years old and it needs an update, but I've heard that the technical committee is working on an updated version and is going to basically have the most important information as far as USAPL rules and the USAPL rules that the lifters need to know, not the other stuff that maybe meet directors need to know. And so then this will be a good updated version eventually for lifters where you don't have to go through the entire rule book. Then also here you do have the IPF rulebook. If you want to go to it, you got the direct link there. But like I said, we're going to go to the USAPL rulebook. All right, we have the USAPL rulebook pulled up here. And the good thing is that these are all links, so you want to go down to the section of whatever you're interested in looking at. So we're going to go down to power lifts and rules of performance, and then we're going to go and click on the squat. That's going to send us down to this page right here, page number 28. And on the PDF here, you can see it's 32 out of 71. And this is all the rules as far as the squat. And the one that we want to look at is the very first one. So number 1 tells you how the lifter has to be facing the front of the platform. It also says the bar has to be held horizontally across the shoulders. And then here's where people get hung up on, is fingers gripping the bar. We'll skip this clarification for now, and then you'll see also the next sentence says the hands may be positioned anywhere on the bar, inside or in contact with the inner collar. So you can't put your hand over the sleeve or that inner collar, and you also can't put your hand obviously on the plates or on the outside sleeve or collars or anything like that. But the thing that people get hung up on is it just says fingers gripping the bar. So what is gripping the bar? What do they consider gripping the bar? And also there has been some confusion over the years of whether you can use a thumbless grip and whether the thumb can be hanging off the bar or not. So that's where USAPL put this clarification in after discussing with the IPF technical chairman. And then they put this in right here, clarification that the thumbs are not considered fingers and thumbless grip is allowed in the squat. All right, so anyone who's gone through the rulebook when they did put this update in and put that clarification in knows that you can use a thumbless grip and that the thumb is not considered a finger, so the thumb doesn't have to be gripping the bar. The thumb can be off the bar. The other fingers are the ones that have to be touching the bar and gripping it. And to take this a little bit further, what they mean by gripping it is basically the palm of your hand and obviously the inside of your fingers have to be touching the bar, okay? So the thumb doesn't have to be touching, but the palm and some portion of the fingers of each finger have to be touching the bar. So let's go over a few different grips that people use and go over what is allowed and what isn't allowed. All right, so I got my handy dandy dumbbell handle here. Hopefully you guys can see it well and see how I'm gripping. So a standard grip would be something like that, where all fingers are wrapped around the bar and the thumb is wrapped around the bar, and then the palm and all the fingers are gripping the bar. So this would be kind of like a standard grip, and it is allowed. Also in the clarification, it says a thumbless grip is allowed. So if you want the thumb over the bar instead of wrapped around the bar, you can. Again, the palm and all the fingers are gripping the bar, and even in this case the thumb is touching the bar and gripping it, so again, this is fine. If you want to put your thumb in the air, again, that's what the clarification is saying, is that the thumb is not considered a finger, so the thumb doesn't need to be gripping the bar, so you could have it up like that. If you want to give 2 thumbs up to the referees while you're squatting, you are allowed to, because the bar is in the palm of the hands, and again, those fingers are gripping the bar. Some people will start twisting their hand out more, and maybe even doing what something is called like a bulldog grip, and again, it is allowed as long as these fingers don't start coming off. Some people start going so far out that maybe their second finger comes off, or maybe their third finger comes off, and now that doesn't matter that the thumb is off because that's fine in the rules, but now these other fingers are off and they're not gripping the bar. So you have to make sure that you are gripping the bar. And anytime you're pushing it close to the line, that's where it gets tough, because the referee from however far away has to see whether you're gripping the bar. So if you're doing some kind of like weird pinch where you're like pushing down with the nails into the palm, okay, they may not consider that gripping because your fingers aren't actually touching the bar or gripping it. There's all this space. You're kind of just like pushing down with the nails down. So you want to make sure at least some portion of your fingers are actually touching the bar. Okay, I don't know how well you can see that, but some portion of all these fingers are actually touching the bar and pushing down the bar, and that's considered gripping the bar, and don't worry about the thumb. Okay, so when you do that kind of twisting the hand out or doing some kind of bulldog grip, you have to be careful of that if you start pushing it to the limits, then they may not consider that gripping the bar anymore. Also, some people might use what's called a talon grip, where they might also put 1 or more fingers underneath. So aside from just putting the thumb underneath, they may also put the pinky underneath, and this is not allowed because, again, the thumb doesn't matter, okay? It's not one of the fingers, but the pinky does matter. So this pinky is not gripping the bar. The pinky is just hanging there underneath the bar. If you are really tight in your hands, or maybe you squeeze them like that, you could try and argue that you're gripping the bar, but really you're just trapping the pinky underneath the bar or pinching it underneath the bar and holding with these fingers, okay? So they're not considering this gripping the bar. So you can kind of think of it as gripping the bar as some part of your fingers here on the inside and into the palm have to be actually touching the bar, okay? So we're not worried about the thumb right now, but for the other fingers, you can do something like that where the outside of the hand is just touching the bar while it's just underneath hanging, okay? So that kind of talon grip that you see sometimes lifters do is not allowed. All right, so that should be a pretty simple explanation. Now they have a clarification there in the USAPL rulebook, and we're breaking it down as don't worry about the thumb, worry about the other fingers. Some part of the inside of the hand of those fingers have to be touching the bar. You cannot trap it underneath or just have it dangling underneath. It has to actually be touching and gripping the bar. And an important thing to note here for not only lifters, but also the coaches and the referees is to always stay up to date on the rules. So often at the end of the year, going into the next year, the IPF may update the rules. They'll put out a little statement about it saying the rule book's going to be updated. And if you even go to the IPF website right now, you'll see a 2020 version and a 2021 version with the updates, so you can go look at it. But even then, from time to time, you'll see the USAPL rulebook has a 2019.5 because they've done some updates, they put some clarifications in there, some rule changes came in within the year. So you have to stay on top of it, whether you are, again, a lifter, a coach, a referee, going into each competition, I like to just review the rule book. If it is just looking at the rules of performance, if I'm a referee, I just like looking at the infraction cards to kind of remember the different colors. But also if you are a lifter or coach, maybe going into bigger meets like nationals, is making sure you review everything so you know all the ins and outs of the rules when you get to those bigger competitions. When the placing is important, knowing things about changing your third attempt deadlift, knowing things about relifts and all that kinds of stuff. Since they have changed the rules from time to time over the years, there have been some bigger ones. Like back when I first started, there was only a certain amount you can touch the bar below your chest for the bench press, the xiphoid process. Now you can go down as far as you want. They also used to have a rule on how far the bar could be down your back on the squat. Now they got rid of that, and it just depends on how upright you are at the beginning and at the end. But also they have changed some smaller things in there as far as like a relift. You may not go to the end of the round, you might immediately repeat yourself depending on the situation. So things like that you have to stay on top of. All right, so quick recap. Don't worry about the thumb. Thumbless grip is allowed, and your thumb can even be hanging off, not touching the bar. With a Bulldog grip, make sure you be careful about how much you twist your hand out. If the other fingers come off, then that's not allowed. For a talon grip, that is not allowed because you aren't gripping the bar, the fingers just hanging below it. Make sure you like this video, share it with a friend if you think they have a little bit of a questionable squat grip. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this breaking down rules. You can check out my video that I did on the deadlift descent and how fast or slow you have to bring it down. Hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll see you guys next time.